Check the mic. Break it. Yeah. Break it. Slacker82 Alpha.
Check the dirt is dead, smell the rot in the wind. You keep your eyes on the pavement, counting every sin. Waiting for a miracle, man, it ain't gonna come. Waiting for a miracle, man, it ain't gonna come. I see that fake ass grin, looking vacant and numb. That polite little mask, yeah, it's starting to chip. I'm shoving truth down on mask, yeah, it's starting to chip. I'm shoving truth down your throat, take a bite of the whip. Hard pills to swallow, I'm the one with the dose. Hard pills to swallow, I'm the one with the dose. Bringing heavy reality, getting way too close. Bringing heavy reality, getting way too close. This is the Slacker82 Alpha Show. Maverick's the voice, yeah, the one in the red. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. Tear the fabric from the frame, let the whole thing break. The revolution has no face, make no mistake. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. I'm done with the soft talk, no sugar on the tongue. I'm spitting the grit from the songs that I've sung. Chewing on the glass that you fed to the street while you hide in the penthouse, avoiding the heat. Your system is a cage built by cowards of dark, but the mob's at the gate and I'm holding the spark. Politically correct, I don't care if you're hurt. I'm digging up the bodies you left in the dirt. But the mob's at the gate and I'm holding the spark. Politically correct, I don't care if you're hurt. I'm digging up the bodies you left in the dirt. This is the Slacker82 Alpha Show. Maverick's the voice, yeah, the one in the red. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. Tear the fabric from the frame, let the whole thing break. The revolution has no face, make no mistake. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. Spit it out. Spit it out.
Yeah.
Spit it out. Tear it down.
Tear it down.
Tear it down. Spear it down.
Down.
Spear it down. Tear it down. Nobody is safe. This is the Slacker82 Alpha Show. Maverick's the voice, yeah, the one in the red. Nobody is safe. Tear the fabric from the frame, let the whole thing break. The revolution has no face, make no mistake. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe.
The truth is out. The cage is gone. Maverick. Check them.
All right, welcome to another edition of Slacker82. I'm your host, Maverick. What's going on, everybody? I know, well, that hasn't been that long since I did the last one, but I've been getting such a great response from you guys that I have to keep up with these shows. So we're back. Man, a lot going on. Oh, could this be the summer of war? Well, it looks like it's going to be. Because if you're listening to Trump who's saying, no, we're about there. We got a deal. It's just about there. Yeah, bullshit. Because Iran's giving you the big friggin' finger and saying, screw you, Trump. We're not taking anything. So apparently, let me get to my little article here. All right. So Iran issues horror threat to attack Israel as Trump ceasefire collapsing. That ceasefire has been collapsing for how long now? You know what I mean? I think it's been collapsed. I think Trump is just kind of keeping it going. Iran arms forces that have threatened future action against Israel following strike in Lebanon on Monday. The warning came from the something headquarters after Benjamin Netanyahu said he had instructed Israel's military together with Defense Minister Israel to strike targets in Beirut, Dehani, I don't know how you say that, district, in response to what he describes as a repeated Hezbollah ceasefire violation and attacking Israel cities and citizens. So we're supposed to believe, though, because I just heard Trump say it again, that we're close to a deal. And Iran saying, no, we're not. So I don't know who. U.S. bombs Iranian military sites as downs missiles Tehran fired at troops in Kuwait. So this was just recently. The United States said Monday that it bombed the radar and drone sites in Iran after Tehran shut down an American drone over the weekend. Iran then said it targeted American soldiers in Kuwait with missiles, which the U.S. says it shot down. The nominal ceasefire between Iran and the U.S. is repeatedly tested with back and forth attacks. So let me get this right. So we have a ceasefire, but we're still firing back. Both of us are going back and forth, and we're still firing missiles. How does that work? Excuse me. Back and forth. The officials from both countries are still trying to negotiate the end of the war. It's not clear how close they are to a deal. There's always a risk of an attack could derail the whole talks. I mean, look, this is just crazy. I mean, it comes down to credibility, I guess. And, we have to, and you want to believe the Trump administration when they say, when Trump comes out repeatedly every single day saying, a deal's close, a deal's close. I mean, we've been hearing that for how many months now that a deal's close. And then Iran comes out behind him and says, no, we're not. There's no deal. We walked away from the table because they're not, U.S. is being too, not wanting to compromise at all. So it makes you wonder who's telling the truth. It's pretty bad when the Iranian government is more of a credible news source than our own people. Oil prices, of course. Global oil prices trim. What they raise? 7. Oil surges up 7% since this. They. I noticed that I pulled up an article that said something different earlier. In the same article, they changed it. You know why? And this is what I've been saying all along. Every single time the prices jumped, soon as Israel, as soon as Iran said we're walking away from the table, gas prices shot up 7%, up to like $97 a barrel. Now, oil prices trim early gains, but still top $95 a barrel after Trump said peace talks with Iran are back on following a pause. Because he's manipulating the market. They are manipulating the market. Trump has to say that the gas prices are going to go down after this, after that. He has to say that because Iran's saying we walk away from the table, we're closing the strait. Gas prices shot up as soon as that came out, and then Trump comes out behind and go, "Oh no, we're back on, after a pause." Because he knows what's going to happen. The oil prices are going to shoot up. You think this $4.50 a barrel, or a gallon that you're paying now is something? You're going to see over $5. Over $5 in the middle of the summer here, because this thing's not ending anytime soon. And all of you are sitting there going, "Oh, well, Trump said it's going to end." Yeah, it's full of shit, because it's not going to end. I'm sick of hearing the same crap over and over again. Every single day he comes out with the same talking point. When someone questioned him about the oil, the oil prices, the gas prices, they're going to drop. They're going to drop like a rock. As soon as this war is over. When's that going to be? I don't know. Exactly. He has no clue, because he's got no way out of this. He got us into this mess, and he's got no way to get us out. So he has to make it look like Iran's not negotiating in good faith. When, if y'all remember, and I know this is going to hurt some of you people out there, but you have to remember, Iran was at the talk. We were talking to Iran, negotiating. They were negotiating in good faith. And then what happens? Israel comes over, whispers in Trump's ear, "We got to bomb them because, they got a nuke, and they can nuke us at any day now." And what's he do? He automatically does it in the middle. We're talking to them. They're at the table. And what do? Because Israel says, "Oh, they got a nuke. They're going to nuke you any day now. So you got to do something." And Trump says, "Oh, that must be true. We got to do something." And then what's he do? He starts bombing them, and then everything happened from there. Everybody knew what was going to happen. Trump knew what was going to happen. As soon as he bombed them, he knew damn well that they would close the strait. And he acted like, he didn't know. His advisors were telling him, not a good idea. Don't do it, because they're going to close the strait. What do? bomb them anyway. They close the strait, and then everybody's surprised. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. We didn't know they were going to do that. Sure the hell you did. Iran doesn't have much to compete against us, but they can hold. And that's the thing. You know, Trump puts out there that, you know, that he can last longer, that the United States can last longer than Iran and hold out. There's absolutely not the case. Iran knows the longer this thing plays out, yes, they're going to take a hit, but the longer it plays out, Trump's going to have to negotiate and have to give in on some of the things that they want. And that's what's happening. You know, I mean, Trump keeps saying that, oh, there's no agreement on, you know, this and that. But I don't believe it, you know, because Iran says something different, you know. And what does Iran have to, everybody's, oh, well, you can't believe Iran because they're going to say anything. Well, why? For what reason? What reason would they have to make up stories saying we're not negotiating? Because for what, I mean, you know, if you have a good explanation for that, let me know. I mean, you know, send me a message. I want to know why that Iran would just say, oh, we're, you know, when they keep coming out and saying we're not negotiating, and, you know, these things are not non-negotiable, you know, and then Trump saying, oh, well, they're agreeing to everything. They're agreeing to give up the nuclear dust and, you know, all the other bullshit that he says. I'm sorry, but, you know, I know you guys don't want to hear today that I'm bashing on Trump, but he's fucking up big time. Fucking up big time. And, you know, it's time for you, the people who are living with the fucking blinders on, to take them off and realize what is going on here. You're being played. We're being played. We've been being played from this, you know, for a while now. I mean, and Trump is just saying those things. He has to keep to them. He has to stick to those talking points because he has to keep his base in line, and he has to keep the markets from falling and crashing. And that's what he's doing. Every time that he comes out and says, we're going close to a deal, we're close, it's going to be another day or two, we're close, he's dragging it out, keeping the markets from failing. And I don't give a crap whether you like what I'm saying or not, but that's the truth. And sometimes, you know what? The truth hurts when you got to hear it. And that's exactly what's happening, because he's not, we're not doing anything. You know, the ceasefire is on the verge of collapse. That thing's done. I mean, come on. Once you started lobbing missiles at each other, the ceasefire is no more. The ceasefire is just that. You don't fire anything. You don't do anything. We've been doing that for how many weeks now? Since this supposed ceasefire came about. I mean, you know, it's just ridiculous. You know, and it's just unbelievable that, well, people will still defend him. Look, again, from the beginning, I've been a supporter of his since the first term. But this term, he's fucking up. Sorry. You know, MAGA is dead. MAGA is dead, and it's his fault. Trump's fault. And when we lose the friggin' midterms, it's going to be his fault too. You can't sit back and blame the Democrats. Oh, Democrats did this. Oh, Democrats did that. No, we didn't do anything as Republicans. We didn't do shit. Republicans aren't doing anything. We have the House, we have the Senate, we have the presidency, and we're not doing anything to better this country. Zero. He's going back on every promise that he did during his campaign. No new wars, no endless wars, no regime changes. You know, all these things that he said he's doing. So, I mean, this isn't the same guy that was back in 2016. You guys have to understand that. It's not the same guy. And those of you who think it is, well, you're sadly mistaken, because it's not. He's not the same guy. He doesn't care like he did in the first term. First term, I was all for him, dude. He was Mr. Go for it, you know, all for country, all for America. America first, America first, America first. And that was what it was. This term, it's not America first. It's all his buddies first, Israel first, every other country who wants to give him money first. That's who comes first. America is not first anymore. So when you hear Marjorie Taylor Greene or or Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens or Alex Jones and all these others that are coming out who used to be hardcore Trump supporters are now coming out against them is because they took the blinders off. They see what's really going on and they see the light. They've seen the light, period. And you guys, I mean, and those who still say, oh, well, they're traitors. Oh, yeah, this and that. They're not fucking traitors. They've seen the light. They've seen that we're being played. And it's time for the rest of y'all to wake up and smell the coffee. Look, you can still support them and still disagree with them at the same time. I know that you hardcore ones believe that you can't. But, it is possible. You can disagree and still support him. You're allowed to do that. I know Trump says that no. I mean, once you look, the new one, the new target now is Nancy Mace. She diehard Trump supporter, and he always praising her how good she is and this and that. She does one thing, goes against them on one thing, the Epstein files, and what's he do? Now she's his new target. Saying how lousy she is and this and that. I mean, and that, but that's his normal. That's what he does. And he has to hit somebody if they don't agree with him. That's just who he is. I mean, they're automatically unloyal if they disagree with him. And guess what, Trump? I hope you're listening, or somebody who's listening close to you, because guess what? A big majority of the American people feel the same way. The Epstein files, you think they went away. You think because you started this war with Iran and all this other garbage that everybody just forgot about the Epstein files. Nobody's forgotten. That shit's not going away. That shit's not going to stop haunting you. So you may have curbed it for right now, but guess what? It's sitting in the wings waiting. And you're sadly mistaken if you don't believe that. I mean, sorry, but that's just the way it is. I tell it the way it is. People don't like it. Sorry. I mean, but that's just me. And I've always been that way. And anybody who's listened to the show in the past knows that I speak my mind, So let's see here. What else we got going on? I had some other stuff here. Yeah. So, I was reading, Trump was saying something about, oh no, here we go. I want to talk about this. Google wants to release 32 million infected mosquitoes into the wild. Now, I don't know about you. First of all, what does Google have to do with anything with mosquitoes? I mean, anybody? I'd like an answer to that one. Google is a tech company. All right. That's the vision behind a new public health project from Google in California and Florida. Oh, shit. I got them down here. Google is seeking federal approval to breed and release swarms of mosquitoes carrying an infection harmless to humans. Now, do we believe that? Does anybody believe that these 32 million mosquitoes that they're going to release are harmless to humans? Mosquitoes are among the deadliest animals in the world, making millions sick every year with diseases including West Nile virus, St. Louis, and something or other, dengue, Zika, chimichanga. I know it's not that way we say it, but I'm talking about, and yellow fever. Only female mosquitoes spread viruses when they bite animal infected with a virus and then bite a person. Males can only nibble on plant nectar. No, I did know that. Rather than tinker with their DNA or spray streets with insecticides, Google team wants to infect them with this parasitic bacteria, Wolbachia. I don't know if that's how you say it or not, but that's how I'm going to say it. Says lives most kinds of insects from bees to butterflies and doesn't harm humans. And mosquitoes, Wolbachia. Again, I don't know if that's how you say it, so don't criticize me for saying the wrong word. Burrows into the insect's reproductive machinery and shields them from infections like the West Nile virus. An infected female carries within her eggs, and offspring was born infected. All right. So this plan is called the sterile insect technique. Could cause a local wild mosquito population to plummet, according to Google. I don't know about you, but I don't believe it. I don't. There's something funny about that. I mean, look, you got a tech company, Google. What the hell do they know anything about doing anything to mosquitoes to help out the the country, the world, whatever? I mean, absolutely nothing. I mean, just something that just doesn't sit right. I'm sorry, I don't know why, but and I'm sure a lot of you are thinking the same thing. Google, 32 million mosquitoes. Could be billion. I don't know, million, billion. I don't know what it was, but I don't know. Just doesn't make sense. All right, what else we got going on in this crazy country of ours? No. So, Maniac Trump 79 melts down at unpatriotic Republicans in 1 a.m. rage post. Yeah, he's been posting a lot of crap lately. He's been he's been going a little bit crazy there. What is this here? The White House is the new green zone. Across from the White House, it's a museum called the People's House, the White House Experience. Inside is a replica of Oval Office, interactive exhibits on what it's like to attend a state dinner or sit in a cabinet meeting. It's about as close as you get to the White House and get an actual being there. Wholesome, okay, big deal. Every Saturday, last Saturday evening, 2 bullets shattered the glass between the displays of the Christmas ornaments and the dining plates. A 21-year-old gunman opened fire on Secret Service agent, returned fire, killing him. All right, yeah. And then we tried to say that was another attempt on Trump's life. Which this guy, from what I understand, had nothing to do with Trump. Yeah, but I mean, they use that to push this stupid ballroom still. That's why we need the ballroom, because it's got to be safe. White House is supposed to be the safest place for him to be in. So why you need a ballroom? I don't know. So let's see. Over 1,000 suspected Ebola cases in DR Congo and Uganda. Ebola. Spreading the word, dude. Spreading the word. All right. What else we got here? What's this here? Never mind. That's the. I don't want to read that. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, and I'm sick of hearing that. That this thing's almost over. We just need to get out of there already. He needs to stay face, just cut bait, get out, man. Get out. Agree to what you need to agree to and get out of there. Because, the longer we drag this out, it's just not gonna bode good for this country. Even though Trump says it's going to, he's not gonna make a deal that's bad for the country. He's already made a bad deal already, by getting us into this crap to begin with. That's something we should have just never done. All right, so here we go. Iran reportedly backs out of peace talk. Oh, sorry, I lost it. Where'd it go? Iran reportedly backs out of peace talks over Israel attack, but Trump says that's fine with him. We talk too much. Trump appears to have leaned on Netanyahu and Hezbollah in the effort to save the U.S.-Iran peace talk. The U.S. and Israel kicked off a 39-day bombing campaign against Iran on February 28th, during which over 13,000 targets were hit, including the upper crust of the regime in Tehran. While the U.S. and Iran agree in earlier April to a ceasefire, it's been strained by recent days and weeks by violence exchanged between warring parties. While admittedly not in a rush to strike a deal at the end of the war in time for midterms, President Donald Trump nevertheless expressed optimism early Monday that Iran really wants to make a deal, and it'll be a good one for the USA and those that are with us. Hours later, and after the U.S. Central Command announced that a pair of Iranian ballistic missiles targeted American forces in Kuwait have been intercepted, Iranian state media announced that Tehran has suspended peace talks with the United States, citing the cause Israel's offensive in Lebanon and escalation in Beirut. So there you go. Trump says, "Oh, yeah, we're still talking," and Iran says, "No, we're not." I mean, it's just, and this crap. Trump come out the other day and he said that he was asked, is he worried about the midterms and, with everything going on, and is it going to hurt the Republicans? And I was kind of surprised, but not surprised at the same time to hear his answer. And his answer was, I'm not worried about the midterms. And I sat there for a minute and I'm thinking, why would you say something like that? Because we're going to lose the midterms, and we're going to lose them big if something doesn't take place soon. Because his philosophy that the American people are more concerned about Iran bombing them than the gas prices or food prices or energy prices, he's full of shit. He cannot really think that in his head, but he says those things, and it's just, it makes you wonder what the hell he's thinking. Because if he thinks the American people are more worried about Iran bombing here than the rest of those things, he's full of crap. And he said that just shows you how far off reality he is. He doesn't give a crap about, I'm sorry, but he doesn't give a crap about the American people. I know I'm going to take heat for that comment, but if he did, if it was America first, he would not be trying to feed this crap about Iran 2 weeks away from having a nuke, especially because 5 months before, he came out and told us that we destroyed their capability and we set them back a decade or more on being able to do anything with nuclear weapons. But then, 5-6 months later, whatever it was, here we are. They were about to have a nuclear weapon. They're 2 weeks away from bombing us. And he wants everybody to believe that. And so he keeps repeating it over and over again. Whenever asked, you'll hear him say that it's better than having to worry about Iran having a nuclear weapon. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Iran was very close to nuking us, and that's why we had to do what we had to do. When he knows it's not true. There's no credible evidence out there from anybody that says Iran was 2 weeks away from bombing us. Sorry, there's just not. If you got the evidence, send it to me. Let me see it. Then I'll say I was wrong about that statement, but I'm not. It's been out there. People have said it. Yeah, I'm not the only one saying it. Uh, it just, he has to keep repeating it. What's that old saying? Repeat a lie enough, it becomes the truth. People believe it, and that's what he's doing. He has to, and every time, every interview, when somebody asks him about the gas prices, he says the same exact thing. Gas prices are going to come down when the war ends. Well, what do you have to say to the American people who are suffering at, when they have to go get gas or buy food? Oh, it's only temporary. Or the gas prices. It's just peanuts. It may be peanuts to him, to somebody who probably never had to pay for gas in his life. And when you have the kind of money that he has, that's the problem. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Look, we do not need a president who came from money. Think about this. Because a president who came from money never had to live poor, never had to live paycheck to paycheck, never had to decide choosing one thing over food or gas or whatever. They just haven't. And so they cannot relate to the American people. And that's where he is. He cannot relate to the American people. And that what makes him say stupid shit like that. That, a little temporary rise to the pump, you should be, like we should be, bowing down and kissing his ass and saying, oh, thank you, Trump, for the little raise of the price, but you kept us safe from a nuke. I mean, it's just stupid. It really is. I mean, and for him to believe that, I mean, he must, or he just, like I said, he just repeats it over and over again and hoping that people will believe him. And some people do believe him. I talk to people all the time that are like, and they repeat his talking points. You'll hear Trump say, oh, it's only peanuts. Well, then, then you get these people, oh, well, yeah, it's only peanuts. It's only temporary. The price is going to go down like a rock when the war ends. All those talking points that Trump says, you got these hardcore Trump supporters that repeat the same stuff. And I know, trust me, I know some mega hardcore Trump supporter. And does not matter what Trump says, does not matter what Trump does. It's never wrong. He's always right. Even if they know, and you present them with the fact that he's wrong, they still believe that he's right. And they'll argue the point. And then if you argue against them, oh, you have whatever, what do they call it? TDS, I think they call it. Trump likes to throw that out there because somebody made it up and he likes the idea. Trump deranged syndrome or whatever the hell it's called. That's what you are if you disagree with him. It's not, you're an American disagreeing with the president because you're allowed to, because that's the great country that we live in, where you're able to disagree with anybody and say whatever you want because you're covered by the First Amendment. Period. But in Trump's world, if you disagree with him, you're the enemy. You're automatically the enemy, and he tries to attack you and bring you down. And he's tried that with so many people, every time. And like I said earlier, Nancy Mace is a clear example of that. She was a huge, big supporter of Trump. Always, if you look at all her stuff, always a big supporter. And now, because she went against him and said something about the Epstein files, wanting them to be released. Everything. Now she's the enemy. And why? For no other reason than because Trump said she's the enemy. Same thing with Alex Jones. He's the enemy. Why? Because Trump said he is. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's the enemy. Why? Because Trump said she is. And so those people out there who believe and fall on every word that Trump says will say, oh, well, Trump said she's bad, so I guess she's bad then. And not even using the brain that God gave them to realize, are they really bad? Are they really traitors against MAGA? Because all these people were huge MAGA. These people, whether Trump wants to admit it or not, helped him get elected to this second term. And now they're bad because why? Because they saw the light. They don't believe, everything that comes out of Trump's mouth anymore. Then put me in that category with them, because I don't believe everything that comes out of Trump's mouth anymore. Doesn't mean I don't like him. When he does good, I'm the first there to tell you he did good. But lately he hasn't been doing anything good. And I know that's going to upset some people listening to the show today. But sorry. That's just the way it is. I can't support something and can't say that he's doing a good job when he's screwing up the country. And I can't say he's America first when he's screwing up the country, because it's not America first anymore. And again, I'll repeat it. MAGA's dead. Simple as that. And why is it dead? Because Trump killed it. He killed it by going against what he ran on. And people say, oh, no, he didn't. He didn't. Yeah, but he did. Simple as that. He went against everything that he ran on. And it's like he doesn't give a crap. It's like he does not care enough to see what he's doing. Or, I could be wrong, he could see it and just doesn't give a shit. And doing his own thing. He's too worried about stamping his name everywhere, putting his face everywhere. This 250 celebration. Let's get into that. So, before he announced that UFC thing, he bought stock in UFC. And then, of course, he announced that this big thing we're going to have at the White House, big UFC competition fight we're going to have at the White House. So, let's see. He bought stock before he announced it and knew that it would give a big boost to the UFC stock. Well, there you go. People say, oh, well, so what? He's allowed to buy stock. Yeah, well, you're right. He is. But when you're the insider and you're giving inside information, there's been so many other instances of things, family making money. I posted them. You can look on my Instagram, excuse me, my X. Go check out all the stuff I post there. I posted things. I posted things on True Social as well. Not always favorable to Trump either. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care that people don't like what I have to say, because the truth hurts. And people don't like the truth sometimes, especially when it goes against their savior. He's not my savior. I have one savior, and that's my Lord and Jesus Christ. That's my savior. There is none above him. And Trump is nowhere near that. People like to consider him God-like, Jesus-like. He likes to consider himself that. But he's nowhere near it. No, not even close. You know, so yeah, I mean, that just, I don't know. I don't know where this country's going. Oh, so let me get back to the UFC thing and everything. So then he we're going to do this 250 freedom concert or some crap like that. And they drug up every old person they could possibly think of. Manili, Manili, Billy Manili, um, Vanilla Ice, Young DMC or whatever his name is, and some others. And then all these people decided, well, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to get out of this thing. So they're all backing out. Tina McBride, I think her name was, or something like that. I don't know. Some country lady. He was praising her, and then she backed out. Now she's terrible. Typical. But so then it's, well, you know what? Let's do a rally. We need to do a MAGA rally, and I'll speak. I'll get the, what do you say? I'll get the best person, the goat, then me, Donald J. Trump. And I'm like, you got to be friggin' kidding me. So this guy was supposed to be a 250th celebration of America, America, this country. And he's turning it into trying to make it all about him. Other presidents down the line who've had those ones, and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not even going to try to quote those. But the other presidents who did the 1976 and stuff like that, they kept it about America. It wasn't about me. And Trump is trying to make it all about him. I mean, it's no coincidence that he's doing it on his 80th birthday. He wanted it to fall out of all days. He put it on his birthday. So it had to be about him. And that's where he fucked up. He made the mistake by doing that. And people don't like it. People don't like it because it's not about him. He's supposed to check the ego, put it aside, and celebrate this great country. And he's not doing that. And it's a shame that he can't see that and that he has to put his name on it. I mean, look, for goodness sakes, the $250 bill. Why the hell do we need a $250 bill, first of all? The American people can't even scrounge up enough money to buy gas and food. And we're going to release a $250 bill, and it's going to have Trump's face on it. Yeah, everybody. Like we're supposed to be like bow down and kiss his ass and say, oh, thank you for that $250 bill. I mean, are you friggin' kidding me? And there's a gold coin and he's selling watches and Bibles and all kinds of other garbage that he's trying to make money off the American people. And it's a shame. It's a shame, to sit back and watch these ridiculous things happen. Because it doesn't have to be that way. He doesn't have to do these things. If he would just wake up and, snap out of this, whatever he's in, my name's got to be on everything. I mean, look, the judge just ruled the other day that he's got to take his name off the Kennedy Center. It already had a name. It was called the Kennedy Center. After John F.K. Kennedy, a great president that we had. And he wanted to strip that name and put his own name on there. Well, I don't know if he wanted his whole name on there or just he wanted to add, it was the Trump Kennedy Center. He had to have his name on there. For what reason? What reason do you fucking need your name on that building? And the judge was absolutely right to strip it and tell him to take his freaking name off of there. And I don't give a crap whether he's mad about it or not. Because he was fired off 10 text messages. I mean, social media posts about the judge and his wife. And I mean, really, just suck it up, bro. You can't have everything that you want. You can't put your name on everything that you want to put it on. I mean, show some friggin' respect, self-respect. I mean, you got your friggin' name on buildings and everything else, but you built those buildings. You didn't build these things. Just because you're the president right now doesn't give you the right to stick your name on everything. Because we don't want your name on everything. Because once you're gone, you know why he wants to do it? And this is going to hurt some people's feelings. He wants to do it because he knows in 2.5 years when he's done, the Trump name is going to be nothing. It's going to go back to what it was. There isn't going to be no, oh, President Trump, President Trump. Well, never, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can't take the president away from his first name. I mean, that's the honor that he got. He ran. He was the president of the United States. He deserves that respect. But he knows that, first of all, we know Democrats, if they get in, they'll erase his name off of everything. And he knows that. So he's trying to put it in as many places as he can in the name of the 250th anniversary of this country. But it's not going to work. And he needs to realize that. And all those, oh, wait a minute, I know, I'm going to get the, Trump's going to be in the third term. Trump's the last president. All that bullshit. I've been hearing that for a while now. I hear from people that I talk to. Do I believe it? Absolutely not. Unless he changes the Constitution, there's absolutely no way that he's going to be in the third term. And then everybody, I have to hear this. Well, they're finding all this cheating from 2020. They're finding this. They found out this many ballots were fake. This many. And I say, okay, now what? What do you think's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen by them finding that they cheated? We know they cheated. I mean, I say it right out. We know the Democrats cheated. But it's not going to change anything, first of all. And now we're in 2026. This was 2020, 6 years ago. And the only person talking about 2020 is Trump, because he has to keep it out there. He has to keep his base fired up. And if he doesn't, he knows that they'll just forget about it, and focus on other things. And he knows this. He's not a stupid guy. Look, I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, Trump is not a dumb guy. And, he says a lot of dumb shit and does a lot of stupid shit, but he's not dumb. And he knows what he has to do to keep his base fired up. Because if he doesn't, he loses them. And once he loses his base, he's as good as done. I mean, with a 33 or 34% approval rating right now, he's not doing that well, even with his base. Well, no, I got to let me repeat. Let me change that. With his base, he's still, because the hardcore ones are still attached, and still breathing the MAGA air that he's trying to breathe out. But the others who are seeing the light, I guess you want to say, that are coming to the light, are seeing things in a whole nother light, that they're falling away, and and he knows it. He knows it, and he's trying to hang on, and that's why he does the things that he does and says the things that he says. It's going to be a sad day for MAGA, the ones that are holding on to the MAGA. when the election comes along and Trump's no more. And we get whoever in the White House. We know it's not going to be JD. JD knows it's not going to be JD. That's why there's rumor is that he's considering not even running. Because he knows right now the Republican Party is so messed up that he doesn't have a chance. Because he's attached to Trump right now. He's attached to this war. He's attached to everything that came along with it. And he knows it. And he's trying, you notice he tries to distance himself, but he doesn't really come out and try to say anything negative about Trump. Because he knows if he did that, well, that's going to put a strain on his relationship with Trump, first of all. And he knows that Trump will start, probably attacking him. Just like he did Pence. And I don't care what you say about Pence. I mean, everybody, Pence was a traitor, but why was he a traitor? Well, you ask, why was he a traitor? And they'll tell you, they'll say, well, because he was supposed to do something about on January 6th. He was supposed to stop the certification of the votes and blah, blah, blah. And any normal person knows that he had no ability to do that. He's just there to oversee. He had no right or responsibility to overturn anything because he couldn't do it. Even if he wanted to do it, he couldn't do it. But because Trump said, oh, yeah, he could do it, and he didn't, that makes him a traitor. He's unloyal. Everybody turned on Pence. I mean, look, I don't really give a shit about Pence one way or the other. But I also know that he couldn't do anything. He didn't have the ability to do anything. So, and I know that's going to make some people not like what I have to say, but that's just the way it is too. Pence couldn't do anything. But because Trump said he could, even though Trump was full of shit, people believed him, and people turned on Pence. Period. Since we're talking about January 6th, I'm just going to touch on this other thing. The slush fund that Trump wants to pay people who've been wronged by the government. Do I believe the January 6ers deserve money from the American people? This because this money's coming from the American people. I don't believe they do. That might make me unpopular. I've interviewed some of the guys from January 6th, on my show. I support them, but do I believe they need money from the government? Do I believe this fund needs to be created with taxpayer money to pay them? No, because you know why? Nobody forced them to do what they did. Nobody forced them to go to the Capitol, go inside, smash a few things, beat up a few people, or whatever they did. Nobody forced them to do that. They all made the conscious decision on their own to do that. So why should we compensate them for getting in trouble, getting put in jail? I mean, only to be released later. By Trump. I mean, I just, I don't agree with that. I don't agree. And not just them, anybody. That there should be. I've been wronged by the government. I'm not going to get any of that money. You know what I mean? My show's been shut down and interrupted and all kinds of stuff and censored and everything else. But you don't hear me crying about it. I just keep moving on. You close me down, I start another one. Simple as that. I've started probably 5 different YouTube pages because they censored me so much. I've had my podcast shut down after millions of listeners build up with no explanation, just shut down, had to start over. You know, it's just the way it is. Things happen, and you got to overcome it, adapt and overcome, right? You know what they say? So, I don't know. I'm sure I'll get some mail on these things, these topics today, but, you know, again, you don't tune into the show to hear watered down or sugar coated or anything else, because that's not who I am. I never have been, never will be. I will never conform to a way that makes me popular with everybody. Sorry, I'm just not going to do it. And me talking about MAGA and Trump and things like that doesn't make me popular. But you know what? There are a lot of people out there that listen to what I have to say and agree. They're just not going to say it the way I do. I've never been one to sugarcoat anything. You know, I'll tell you how I feel. You know, and if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to tell you I was wrong. You know, if anything I've said, you know, you send me something that shows me I was wrong, I'll be the first one to admit I was wrong. Change what I said. But I haven't. I've never had to. I don't have anybody go against me and say, you know, you were wrong. You know, it's just who I am, and I'm not going to change that for anybody. You know, I'm not going to change who I am and the way I speak and the things I speak about. And I'm not going to have somebody tell me that I can't. You know, and I'm not going to have somebody tell me, oh, well, you're a liberal or you're a Democrat now and all this crap. You know what? Because you can kiss my ass. People don't like it because I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not far right and I'm not left. You know, I sit in the middle there and I use my brain that God gave me to make decisions that I make and choose sides on things that I feel that I you know, that need to be decided. And this show, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, because in my opinion, they're all the same. Absolutely the same. Nothing different. Republicans and Democrats are part of the same bird. Period. You know, when I hear Trump and other people say, oh, these Democrats, they do this, they do that. And what do they, and then you have to turn around and go, yeah, what do Republicans do? Oh, well, this person made this much money and this and that. All right. You have the same thing going on the Republican side. You have the same people on the Republican side getting rich off the American people and not doing a damn thing in their job in the Congress and the Senate. And nobody says anything. But Democrats do it. It's bad. Everybody's afraid to speak against our party. And it doesn't make sense why you have to be afraid to speak against our party. Facts are fact. Truth is truth. Period. So, all right. Well, I guess that's it for today. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Thank you for listening. I will be back. And Maverick's out of here. And remember, the truth shall set you free.
Mike, break it. Yeah. Break it. Slacker82 Alpha.
Check the dirt is dead, smell the rot in the wind. You keep your eyes on the pavement, counting every sin. Waiting for a miracle, man, it ain't gonna come. Waiting for a miracle, man, it ain't gonna come. I see that fake ass grin looking vacant and numb. That polite little mask, yeah, it's starting to chip. I'm shoving truth down on mask, yeah, it's starting to chip. I'm shoving truth down your throat, take a bite of the whip. Hard pills to swallow, I'm the one with the dose. Hard pills to swallow, I'm the one with the dose. Bringing heavy reality, getting way too close. Bringing heavy reality, getting way too close. This is the Slacker82 Alpha Show. Maverick's the voice, yeah, the one in the red. from the frame, let the whole thing break. The revolution has no face, make no mistake. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. I'm done with the soft talk, no sugar on the tongue. I'm spitting the grit from the songs that I've sung. Chewing on the glass that you fed to the street while you hide in the penthouse, avoiding the heat. Your system is